The missing children's incident has been a cornerstone of the Five Nights at Freddy's lore since the very first game's release, being directly mentioned in the newspaper articles we can see hanging on the walls from time to time. The disappearance and subsequent deaths of Jeremy, Fritz, Gabriel, Susie, and Cassidy were what got theorists intrigued as to what was going on behind closed doors at the pizzeria. And as we discovered later, their spirits were the cause behind the iconic gameplay that FNAF 1 fans fell in love with. But how many of you remember the second set of victims? The victims that nobody talked about, and based on all the research that I did, haven't even been given names yet. I say all this because, if my theory ends up being correct, then I'm about to rock the foundation of the FNAF universe that we all know and love. Because my theory is that the MCI victims' stories, they don't extend past FNAF 1. At least, not in the same way. So what is their story anyways? At least the story told by most YouTube theorizers, that is. Well, it's that after their deaths in the FNAF 1 location, they went on to haunt the animatronics, which were eventually melted down into a substance known as remnant, or molten soul metal, and injected into the wires and tubes of the fun times down in the bowels of Circus Baby's entertainment and rentals, thus giving them a sort of animalistic life. These animatronics were then combined into Ennard and escaped inside of Michael as seen in the End of Sister location, only to then end up in the FNAF 6 location with a new name, Molten Freddy. Now obviously that was a very condensed summary of the story, but it works for our purposes today. So if this is the widely believed timeline, then why am I saying it's wrong? Simple. The FNAF 3 Follow Me minigames. In these minigames, we are shown the event that turned William into the semi-immortal being Springtrap, after he tears apart the FNAF 1 animatronics, releasing the spirits trapped inside them, who subsequently chase him down into the back rooms and his own death. These minigames show that these spirits, the missing children from FNAF 1, could not have been the spirits that William melted down and infused into the fun times, as it wasn't until at least 2023 that he was rescued from the back room of the pizzeria, as it also seems to have happened on the same night. So what does this mean for the series? Well, it means that the FNAF 1 victims couldn't have been melted down into Remnant and infused into the fun times. That just doesn't work timeline-wise. But that doesn't mean that the fun times aren't still filled with Remnant, because as I said at the top of the episode, there are still 5 souls that have been left unaccounted for. The 5 children killed at the FNAF 2 location. Now, I know this is a big departure from what we've believed for quite a while now, but I think in the long run it works really well, and here is some evidence for that. Firstly, it's believed that these 5 kids' souls went on to haunt the toy animatronics, Toy Freddy, Toy Bonnie, Toy Chica, Mangle, and maybe Balloon Boy, before the events of FNAF 2. We then get word from a newspaper clipping after completing the secret 6th night that the toys are going to be scrapped due to possible malfunctions. At this point, I theorize that William Afton was tasked with scrapping the animatronics. Either that or he weasels his way into acquiring them at this point so he could take them back to his lab, melt them down, and inject the soul metal into his latest creations, the Fun Times. This answer also works from a character perspective. William probably killed the original 5 kids out of rage. Rage for losing his son, maybe even his daughter, depending on when her death falls in the timeline. So instead of seeking therapy, he took all of his anger out on 5 innocent children, murdering them in cold blood and stuffing their bodies into the animatronic suits that entertained the guests. And that would have been it, until William started noticing the animatronics acting funny, moving in unnatural ways for a robot, looking at him with contempt and malice. I believe he eventually understood what was happening, and instead of finding a way to sneak back into the by now closed FNAF 1 location, he decided to kill 5 more kids, let their souls haunt the new animatronics, and then have the place closed down so he could seize the animatronics and take them back to his lab for experiments. Which is how we get the Fun Times. And from there, the story plays out basically the same. The Fun Times act more like animals being led by Baby, and eventually become Ennard and escape the lab inside of Mike. The Fun Times and Baby then go their separate ways, becoming Scrap Baby and Molten Freddy. They both end up in the FNAF 6 location and are set ablaze by Henry. A simple change, but that still leaves the original 5 children's souls trapped in that old pizzeria. So then, what happened to them? Well, interested viewers, that's just something you're gonna have to wait to find out. Though, I will tell you now, my theory on that does contain a little bit more speculation than it does hard evidence. But, after watching ID Fantasy's video on the same topic, I feel like I'm on the right path here. But only time will tell. Anyways, if you enjoyed, please leave a like, it really helps me out. And don't forget to subscribe for more FNAF content in the future. With that being said, I will see you all later. Take care.